Blah.
Hello and welcome to Stuff Every Queer Kid Should Know, the survival guide for late adolescence, but also for wherever you're at. I'm Max Emerson, a writer and performer leveraging social media to create independent narratives. Similar to my other endeavors, this podcast is designed to provide vital resources, role models, and tools that enhance your well-being, foster connections, and support personal growth from late adolescence onward. Today is an Ask Me Anything focused on wellness and fitness, where we're tracking everything from workout routines and diet tips to managing those tough days when motivation is low. Get ready for answers on how I maintain my health, deal with cravings, and find the balance between exercise, diet, mental well-being, and maybe a few forbidden food confessions. Have you ever felt like the stress of living authentically is keeping you up at night? You're not alone. Many of us in the LGBT community face challenges that can disrupt our sleep and overall well-being. I know what it's like to carry the weight of the day into the night. The worries, the stress, and constant pressure can make it hard to unwind. I used to lie awake for hours, replaying conversations and anticipating the challenges of the next day. That's when I found Magnesium Breakthrough. Incorporating it into my nightly routine has been a game changer. It helps me let go of the day's anxieties so I can finally get the deep, restorative sleep I need. Now I wake up feeling more grounded, more myself, and ready to face whatever comes my way. Magnesium Breakthrough is different because it contains all 7 forms of magnesium, each one helping to calm your mind and relax your body. Unlike other supplements, it's designed to support you holistically, helping you both sleep better and feel more centered throughout the day. Take control of your well-being. Visit bioptimizers.com/MaxEmerson and use code MaxEmerson for 10% off your first order. And when you subscribe, you'll get additional discounts, free gifts, and the peace of mind knowing that your monthly supply is guaranteed. Embrace the rest and renewal you deserve. Ever wonder how your daily habits like your meals, sleep, or stress impact your health? NutriSense offers a way to take the guesswork out of the wellness journey. For many people, managing health can feel like a shot in the dark. They're trying different diets, workouts, and routines, but without the right information, it's hard to know what's truly working. That is where NutriSense comes in. NutriSense isn't just another health trend. It's a comprehensive program that pairs real-time data from a continuous glucose monitor with one-on-one personalized coaching from expert nutritionists. This combination helps users understand how their bodies respond to food, exercise, sleep, and stress, giving them the insights they need to make informed decisions about their health. What sets NutriSense apart is its unique approach to personalized health. While other programs might offer generic advice, NutriSense tailors its advice based on your unique data. With the support of a board-certified nutritionist, users can receive customized recommendations that align with their specific health goals, making it easier to achieve lasting results. If you're ready to take control of your health, visit nutrisense.io/MaxEmerson to get $50 off your first month. That is nutrisense.io/MaxEmerson. Or you can click on the link in the notes and use my special code, MaxEmerson, for an exclusive $50 discount. Take the first step towards better health with NutriSense today. I'm going to make quick work of these questions because, to be completely honest, I try to keep things as simple as possible when it comes to diet, fitness, wellness, and all of those things. And I really want to communicate how simple it should be. There's so many types of media and industries preying on people's well-being and making things so much more complicated than it has to be. I want to just keep this as basic as possible. First question, how much do I weigh? That is not a barometer for health and wellness, but I weigh 175 pounds. And I really don't fluctuate that much. I've been one of those people who are very fortunate. That's why a lot of these questions I'm answering, you should not be kind of taking straight to heart for you. We all have very different bodies and styles and lives and constraints. So please take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. I am absolutely not an expert in anything. Who is my athletic idol? Simone Biles, clearly. I'm not going to compare myself to her, but she is my athletic idol. Specifically in how during the last Olympics, she couldn't find her flow. And rather than risk it and hurt herself, she bowed out. And then she came back next time and she dominated. How often do I work out? I try to work out or move my body at least once a day. I do strength training, usually 3 or 4 days a week. Cardio 2 days a week. That's either running, volleyball, surfing. I think counts as cardio. I'm not entirely sure. Hiking, and then usually a restorative day once a week. That's either like a long stretch or a yoga or just a swim in the ocean. Frolicking. Have you tried frolicking? It's delightful. My fitness and diet have become a disaster. How do you suggest approaching that? Habits. If you try to start a routine or a diet that is not compatible with you and is like too much stress to start, you're not going to stick with it. So whatever it is that you're trying to implement into your life, make sure it's something that you can do repeatably, that you enjoy. Because if any of this is torture, you're not going to keep doing it and you're just going to burn yourself out. What is my workout routine specifically? I've outlined my weekly kind of system. I think the rule of thumb is about 200 minutes a week of zone 2 cardio, which is cardio where you can kind of still hold a conversation. But for strength training, I am an avid fan of the Shred app. Unfortunately, they're not paying me to promote them, but I'm going to promote them anyways. I've been using them for the last 8 years. They have amazing workout plans. It also serves as a weightlifting journal. They have videos that show you how you can do each exercise and tips for not hurting yourself. That's what I use for strength training. They have a feature where they'll design entire workouts for you based on the muscle groups you want to work, the amount of time that you have, and the style in which you want to do it. They recommend weights based on your previous performance. They let you log your weights and note how hard it was. I find it really intuitive and helpful for tracking my workouts for weight training, but specifically for kind of increasing, keeping me honest with myself and increasing the muscular load each time. Highly recommend. Shred, please pay me. Why is it so hard for me to jog? And what are some good training tips to jog more? Well, if it's hard to jog, you probably shouldn't be jogging. It's probably not the exercise for you. It's an incredibly high impact activity. So if you haven't been super active before this or been doing things that are high impact, I probably wouldn't start with jogging, maybe hiking or elliptical or things that can kind of build those base muscles first before you go into something that causes so many injuries for people. My dad actually blew out his knees trying to jog all the time because that was just like the exercise he liked. And because his knees went, his back went, and now he's 80 years old and he can't move. So the number one piece of fitness advice I can give anybody is don't get hurt. Find things that you like to do and do them in a way that are sustainable. How do I maintain health and fitness after getting over being sick? Slowly. Even when I'm sick, though, I will try to take a moment where I stretch and move around or go for a long dog walk or something to kind of get myself out of that like funky, gross, sick mode. But when you're sick, just be patient with yourself. It's like if you hurt yourself, like if you roll your ankle or sprain your ankle, you're not going to go for a jog the next day. You actually have to let yourself heal. The best food to be a better runner. Carbs? I think anything that translates to fast energy will make you a better runner. I think the tradition is to eat like a bunch of pasta the night before your race. I don't know. I'm not a competitive runner. I am what my family would call a couch runner. I'd be on my ass for like 6 months and then just get up and run 6 miles. I don't know, man. Whatever your body tells you to eat. I think when you're actively working out, your appetite increases and you crave certain foods. Like when I'm working out all the time and being really disciplined, I'm not really like gravitating towards the fried foods and the pizzas and things because my body just needs the stuff that keeps it going. It just starts tasting better. How do I keep my lower belly so flat? I'm trying diet and exercise, but can't. Well, I'm not sure how to answer that question for you because we're all very, very different. I've always been very lean, so it's very easy to keep my lower belly flat. If you've gotten older and let yourself go, so to speak, that's a terrible expression, but it's going to take a lot more work. And sometimes your body is adjusted in a way that maybe you're not going to have a six pack, but that's fine. Like there's no such thing as like a summer body. Like that, you need to first accept your body wherever it's at and love that body. And then honestly, you should be consulting with people who can do an assessment based on you and where you are and tailor that in a way that's right for you. I don't think any influencer on the internet is going to be able to give you a one-size-fits-all answer. But for my personal regimen, I tend to eat a lot of food and a lot of protein, and I'll do creatine when I lift. And then I'll generally do ab workouts right before cardio. And I don't do creatine when that's the case. That seems to work for me. How do I exercise on days that I don't want to? Well, that's simple. You exercise. Sometimes, like, I'll get to that like post lunch, late afternoon period where it's either take a nap or go to the gym, or take a nap and then go to the gym. And sometimes just by pushing through that first 10 minutes, you'll find that you can keep going. Sometimes you end up just feeling tired and lazy because you've been lazy. Again, that's what works for me. What would I tell someone who's just starting? Start slow. Do what you enjoy. The second you stop enjoying it is the second you stop doing it. Best advice on how to get visible abs? I've already shared that. I don't know if that's the real trick. They say that abs are made in the kitchen, but also Photoshop. Here's a fun question. What is a good diet for bottoming, and what sort of fitness? Fitness, dick in your butt. I don't really have a great answer for you here other than, that first piece of advice I give everybody on everything, which is don't get hurt. So a good diet for bottoming would be one that promotes good rectal health. So that's lots of fiber, lots of water. I know you want to look cute and skinny, but don't be dehydrated. That's how you get anal fissures. And fitness, I don't know. I don't know, like Kegels. I am not an expert on anal fitness. But I will try to find an expert who I can talk to, I promise. What would I estimate is my daily average caloric intake? I have no clue and I don't care. How do you track your diet and calorie intake? Okay, so here's the thing. When I'm hungry, I eat food. And then when I'm not hungry, I stop eating the food. I don't stop when I can't eat any more food, like I'm full. I just stop when I'm done being hungry. It's a weird thing because I think sometimes people have really crazy schedules and they need to just get as much food in as they can, or obviously there's like a lot of like mental health issues that cause people to overeat and things like that. But honestly, it's the more just in balance everything is in your life, the more that will fall in line. I know that sounds really pithy and simplistic, but sometimes the simple answer is the best answer. What does a typical dinner look like for me? Ooh, I do get a little white trash from my dinner sometimes. Lots of veggies, honestly. The thing that I try to do when I make food is when I go to the grocery store, I buy far more produce than I think I'm going to be able to eat in that amount of time. And then I have to eat all that produce before it goes bad. That causes me to eat out less, which is never healthy, no matter where you think you're going, unless it's like a salad place. But the idea is if you have way too much produce and real food, that's what you eat. And then once you've eaten it, you're full, so you don't have room for all of the sugar. Hey there, listeners. If you're looking to boost your vitality and support your reproductive health, we've got something special for you. Let's talk about Shilajit, a powerful natural supplement that's been used for centuries in traditional Ayurvedic medicine. Recent studies showed that Shilajit not only increases testosterone levels, but also significantly improves sperm quality and quantity. We're talking better sperm count, enhanced motility, and healthier morphology, all key factors for the male parts. But not all Shilajit is created equal. That's why we recommend Black Lotus Shilajit. Sourced from the pristine Altai Mountains, Black Lotus Shilajit is pure, potent, and packed with fulvic acid and essential minerals. Unlike other brands, Black Lotus undergoes rigorous purification processes to ensure you're getting the highest quality product on the market. So if you're serious about optimizing your masculine parts, Black Lotus Shilajit is your go-to supplement. Boost your energy, enhance your fertility, and feel your best naturally. My favorite product of theirs is the tincture. I leave it under my tongue for like 15 seconds and go. Try it today. Head over to blacklotusshilajit.com and use code MAX for 15% off your order. That's blacklotusshilajit.com, code MAX, because you deserve the best. Throughout history, people have fantasized about a magical drug that could turn gay guys straight. But what if there was a medication that could make you gayer? Introducing Pride Pills, the completely imaginary prescription medication guaranteed to lighten your loafers by at least 30%. Double-blind, peer-reviewed theoretical trials at the University of Tuscaloosa are conclusive. After just 1 week of taking Pride Pills, participants reported 25% higher recollection of Broadway musical lyrics, 40% more creativity, and a whopping 85% increase in pedestrian walking speeds. Who couldn't use a bit more kindness in their eyes and swish in their step? Try Pride Pills today and get a little glitter in your blood. Side effects include nausea, vomiting, hips that don't lie, expulsion from Muslim countries, intolerance to slow walkers, and in rare cases, spontaneous combustion. I'm very much a believer of like the more colors that are on your plate, the better it is for you. But I'm not talking like Oreos, popsicles, gross stuff. I mean like real food that represents the full color spectrum. I eat a lot of protein. I eat a lot of meat. I'm not a vegetarian. I really do try to watch how much processed food I eat and how much sugar I eat. I am an absolute sucker for bread. But when I eat bread, I do my best to eat like real fresh bread that doesn't have a bunch of added sugar and things like that in it. Again, I am not a tyrant. I will devour some cookies from the Vons grocery store from time to time, but it really is kind of back to that very simple 80-20 rule where 80% of the food that you eat should be real whole foods, natural sugar that's not just pumped into something to make it have a longer shelf life or be completely addictive. Supposedly, when you eat too much sugar, your body stops processing the nutrients that you take in. I'm gonna have an actual nutritionist to talk on this sort of thing because I don't wanna just start spouting off facts and be wrong about something. Again, I'm just trusting my intuition on things and trying to regurgitate as much stuff as I've learned from other podcasts. Do I eat desserts? Oh my God, I love desserts. I love making things in crepes. I love ice cream. I know this doesn't really count as a dessert, but like I was raised by a very busy single mom who would go to Sam's Club, and like growing up, I just ate garbage food, like the Uncrustable PB&Js, Hot Pockets. I love that shit. I know it's not a dessert. To me, it is. They're fine as long as it's not your primary diet. I mean, maybe if you're like 15 years old and running 6 miles a day, you can get away with it. But you need to have enough of the nutrients to keep your body going. And if you're going to eat extra bad shit, you got to exercise and burn it off. That's how I see it. How do I make healthy food taste good without using too much of the bad things? Well, it probably depends on how you describe bad things. But one of the tricks I have for when I buy too much produce and need to eat all of it before it goes bad is I will just throw that shit in a blender. There's a lot of ways to make it taste good. There's a lot of vegetables that will like sneak into a smoothie. You can do like a banana, almond butter, protein, whatever smoothie, and then like sneak in some carrots or celery or spinach without tasting them too much. I'm not saying like throw radishes in there, but trial and error. If you have to hold your nose while drinking some smoothies for a few weeks, so be it. You're only gonna know what's good for you by trying things. What is the best way to count calories? Don't. What foods do I avoid? Garbage food, if I can help it. When I travel, that's really hard. But I think in general, just the rule of thumb is avoid as much processed food as you can, or overly processed food. That's such a loaded term because I think just by like cutting a carrot, you've processed it. But added sugars is like the number one thing. Like it says it on the can, what your like suggested daily value is. Like if you look at a can of Coca-Cola, it's 140 calories with like 30 grams of added sugar, and that's 40% of your sugar intake for the day. Maybe don't. How do I find the motivation to start a new, better diet? Don't. Start new, better habits. What's better if you aren't hungry at night? Something light or nothing at all? From everything that I've learned from kind of my nerdy little podcasts and pre-bedtime books, I've learned that it's better not to eat before bedtime. In fact, if you can have your last meal like 4 hours plus before going to bed, you're going to have a lot better sleep cycles. Now, that does also include sugary drinks and alcohol. Those count. I am a hard gainer. Do you have any tips for those of us who can't gain weight? Yeah, eat more. Recommendations for sticking to a healthy diet. Yes, find something that you like. You might notice a pattern going on in this AMA series. What is my go-to form of self-care? Andres and I would like to do those like creepy serial killer masks where it looks like we're wearing someone else's skin on our faces. And depending on our energy levels, we'll either do like an hour of massage or just like 15 minutes of like, we call them neckies, where you lay on your back and you get, like the best part of a massage is when they flip you over and they're like holding your head so you don't have to support it. And they're just like doing the neck and shoulders while you're completely that for like 15 minutes. Yeah, I would say that's self-care. Is that co-care? Because self-care is something that you should be able to do by yourself. But I am a very fortunate person who can pester my boyfriend into doing things with me. Next question is, how many cm is your ideal penis? Is that a diet question? What is my forbidden food? Well, there's like foods that I just don't like. Like I'm not a durian fan. There are some foods that it's best not for me to keep in the house. Pretzels, certain pretzels. I'm very snooty about pretzels, but if it's like one of the brands that I like, it's gone in 2 days. That being said, there needs to be something in your house that is delicious and a little bit garbagey. I like the cookies from the bakery at my grocery store, and I'll have a couple at night before I go to bed if I'm in the mood or if I've been working out a lot. I think that if you don't have anything in your house, you're going to experience what is called an extinction burst, which is like before you give something up, you're going to go hardcore on it. Like alcohol would be a great example. If you're like, I'm quitting alcohol for June, guess what you're going to be doing all of May? And guess what you're going to be doing all of July? That it's like a thing that your brain does to try to reclaim a behavior that it gets a reward system from. So in general, it's best not to forbid anything, but to have a habit where things are in moderation. Again, probably easier said than done, but if you're having trouble with that, maybe look at some of your other habits that are not necessarily diet or exercise related, like your stress levels or your relationships. And maybe something is out of balance there so that you can find a way to like level things off a little bit. Top or bottom? Is that a fitness question? How to manage being in a calorie deficit diet to get lean. It's so hard. I don't really know what that means. Like starving yourself, that doesn't sound like it's a lot of fun. Again, I don't know much about the weight loss community. I think it's kind of a cult. I think it's kind of a scam. And I think people want you to bounce back and forth in your diet all the time. They want you to obsess about it, burn out on it, give up, come back, sign up for their program, go on the retreat and do the whole thing. I mean, it's simple, like eat less and work out more if you want to lose weight. But again, do it in a way that's right for you. There's some guy on the internet is not going to never meet you in person and tell you what you need to do for yourself. Like find an expert if you have to, but honestly, they're just going to tell you what you already kind of know. What alcohol do you drink each week? I assume that means that how much alcohol do I consume in a week? I am currently taking a year off from alcohol. I do it often, more often than you think. I'm also not smoking weed this year. I do it when I have a lot of goals that I want to meet that I'm not meeting fast enough. Sometimes it actually has no impact on me meeting those goals, but it helps me be more accepting of how long things actually take to do and helps me be a little bit more kind with myself. It's one of those things that I feel like when I want to step up to another level or things like that, I just start cutting out the things that I could possibly consider being a distraction. I'll do the same with screen time, with social media. To be honest, I don't really do it with food. I think about it, but it doesn't really happen. If I'm home and eating and making my own food, I tend to eat pretty healthy. But yeah, right now it's I'd say maybe a half a drink of alcohol a week, because when Andres like pours a really nice bourbon, you better believe I'm going to try a sip. One of the things that helps with doing a vacation from alcohol is actually still maintaining rituals and habits, little treats. Andres and I will make things called sparkletinis, which is literally just an Italian soda. It's soda stream water with a couple ounces of juice. You can do orange juice, maybe a shot of ginger juice or some mint, and just like make it as frilly as possible. Or tea. I drink tea almost every single night before going to bed. Supposedly tea has a lot of health benefits, and it doesn't actually matter what type of tea you drink or even if you drink it. the health benefits from tea are actually just in the ritual of making the tea. And I think with things like alcohol, people really miss those routines and those connections with people and just sharing a moment. You know, like how smokers like to go outside and have a break and actually just go stand outside in the sunlight. There's a lot of things that are associated with those habits that you can just do without the toxic part. And I would highly suggest trying them. Do you ever feel overwhelmed being objectified for how you look, or do you thrive on the attention? Well, it's a little bit of both, and it really just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. You know, like sometimes you want the attention and you're like, yeah, tell me I'm pretty. And then there's times where you're like, okay, I'm a little bit tired of all the sexual harassment on the internet. And I think it comes down to kind of where the consent line is. You know, like if you're posting a thirsty picture, it's fine if it's like comments. But if you're just like living your life and like random people are sending unsolicited nudes, it actually can weigh you down, especially if you're having a bad day. How many hours a night do you sleep? As many as my body wants. I am very, very fortunate that I don't have to be on any crazy schedule. And honestly, sometimes I'll sleep 9 or 10 hours if I really need it. If I'm working out super hard, that's where it is. I think one of the really important things about sleep is trying to maintain consistency. It's really a disservice if you're getting up every day early during the week, going to bed early, and then you're staying up late and sleeping in late on weekends. It's basically jet lag, and that will kill you. It's stress. It's a change from your daily routine. So the more that you can just have consistency in your life in general is going to be better for you. So if you're in control of your schedule and can work whenever you want and you want to go out on weekends, maybe don't start your day at 6 a.m. on Mondays. Just a thought. I have a dog, and he thrives on routine. And one of the great things about having him around is there's this thing that happens called entrainment, where your cycles sync up. And get a dog. I think that was where I was going with this. How important is sleep to me? It's everything. It's everything. If you don't want to get hurt, let yourself heal. If you want to be able to have energy to do stuff, let yourself recuperate. That's probably the most important thing you can do for yourself. There's nothing, you can get into all the specifics about like blue light exposure before bed and sunlight in the morning. And there's a million resources where you can check stuff out, like check that sort of stuff out. But again, it's whatever works for you. I have a really hard time going to sleep. My brain is always going. It's supposedly, like usually for me at about 11:30 p.m., my brain starts sending me notifications about all of the awkward things I did throughout the day. So for me, my ritual usually involves tea as I'm like winding down and watching television or something. And then when I go to bed, I read on a very dim Kindle in night mode, like with a black screen, usually something very, very, very dense. It's been nonfiction for a long time, but I've moved into some of the like other narratives. But the primary requirement is that it has to be a little hard for me to understand and not super emotional so I don't get invested. But that's my ritual. We are going to touch on the feedback loop between diet, exercise, mental health, and sleep. Every day, I try to do something that touches on each of those things. Most of health for me is about preventative maintenance, because at the end of the day, you're the only person responsible for your well-being. You know, you can go to a doctor and get a pill to make up for something, but then you're going to be paying for the cost of it later. Like for me, I do a headspace meditation every single day, usually first thing in the morning or after lunch when I'm feeling sleepy. I try to eat 80% real, whole, not super processed foods. I move my body every day in some capacity and try to change up the type of exercise that I do. And also like weird little things, like I walk my dog in the morning and get outside. I do Duolingo for Japanese. I'm on day 1200 and something right now. Just things that challenge your brain in a new way. Like you always want these parts of your body to be growing, always be learning something new, always trying something that's physically challenging, always experiencing a new food if you can do that. I don't know. Some people eat like the same exact thing every day. God bless them. But that's all I got. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Stuff Every Queer Kid Should Know. This is a Wellness Loud production produced by Drake Peterson and Jake Wachtel. Additional production by Cass Falding and Chantilly Toison. The episode was recorded by Jason Siegel, Mun Singh, edited by Jesse Trout, and mixed by Mike Fry. Music by Tom Goss. If you like this show, don't forget to share it with your friends, subscribe on your preferred channel, or all of them, and give us a 5-star rating. It would be super, super helpful. Thank you so much to all my Patreon subscribers. You are credited in the show notes. Thank you for listening. See you next time.